So in Unfriended, the dark web, this guy has a new computer and he starts messing around on it. He starts booting it up, logging into all of his accounts, starts Skyping with his friends, start chatting with his girlfriend who he's on the outs with. Uh, has some app which has a bunch of sign language uh, stuff going on with it, and he's just a guy hanging out on his computer. You see, he turns his webcam on. You see his room. He's got a nice bike in the background. He just hanging out with his friends. And then he starts logging into some stuff. And because he's logging into stuff, I guess some other people see that he's logging into stuff and start trying to chat with him as like someone else. He opens up this Nora C the fourth Facebook, and ladies just start like, "Hey, call me, man." Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, "Oh, I don't know what this is." While he's fighting with his girlfriend, who's mad at him because he didn't go to enough sign language courses. So this whole time he's trying to get his girlfriend to talk to him, and she's like, deaf, and she signs, and he doesn't understand, and he wants her to type, and she doesn't want to type, and sometimes you're thinking like, man, lady, just type. It'd be so much easier and quicker. But apparently that's the whole point of their argument, is that he's not going through the effort of stuff. Okay, and you would think that maybe this whole like sign language thing would be useful or necessary later in the movie because they're being watched and uh, interacted with by these people through the computer, and like maybe if they cut the camera or the sound out or something, you could do sign language and they wouldn't know what they're saying. I don't know. You'd think it would build something because there's so much of it, and you're like, why do they have this deaf character be this guy's girlfriend, and why does he know so much sign language if he's not going to use it in the movie for like practical purposes? Whatever. So he's going through that fight. At the same time, his game night with his friends is starting, all while he's getting messages from strangers on Facebook. So the movie goes from him to his friends to his girlfriend to the people on Facebook. Do. People on Facebook are like, "You're not me. That's me. I'm at a friend's place. You need to give me my computer." And then he's like, "Okay, I'll bring you your computer." And then he doesn't bring his computer on time because it turns out that he found the computer in the lost and found, and it belonged to someone else. So then he has to go take it back to where he found it, and he gets distracted by him trying to get back with his girlfriend, so he doesn't do it. And then later he gets another message as he's still chatting to all these people, and it's like, "If you don't bring that computer back, we're gonna kill your friend." And he's like, "Oh my god." So while he's chatting with like this guy, he's like, "I'll bring your computer back," and that computer guy then shows up in like his girlfriend's apartment or something. Like he's behind her, and it's like, "Oh my god, these people know where I'm at, and knows where my girlfriend's at." And then he basically tells the dude he's gonna follow her, and he's gonna kill this deaf girl unless he does what he says. Meanwhile, he's logging in and clicking on stuff, and his friends are like, "Hey man, what's up?" And he shows them some stuff, and they're like, "Oh my god, I gotta call the police." And then the bad guy like shuts everything down, and he's like, "Did you guys all call the police? She dies, so you have to convince them it's not real." So then all of a sudden he's trying to convince his friends that he was just pranking them with some computer game that he's been designing, a computer game that involves you clicking on and watching like these weird snuff type horror films, which is like his friends, as soon as he starts like clicking on these things and showing weird security camera footage of this just odd stuff, you think his friends would just be like, "Shoop, nope, close the computer, back away, not get involved." So I would do, especially like there's this conspiracy guy, and you just like click on that one, click on that one. It's like, dude, you do not know what you're talking about. You don't click on that one. No. Like click on the most recent one, and they find out that this girl's been kidnapped, and they want to try and save this girl because it was happened so recently. But they can't call the police, and he convinces them it's fake. It's a whole mess. Like, you're watching so many different windows at one time to put this story together. So it's kind of nice in that you do get the whole story as you're watching it if you're paying attention. But it is just hard to follow sometimes because you don't know which screen you should be looking at. So he convinces his friends it's all fake and that no one's in trouble, but he's still trying to figure out a way to save his girlfriend. So meanwhile, while that guy is, stalking or whatever, he takes he's has access on the computer to the guy's like digital coins, and he transfers it into like his own account. So, okay, I wouldn't have done that. And the other people are like, fawning over his game, except it's not real, and they keep asking questions. He's clearly distracted, and he keeps leaving, coming back. And eventually, he's able to tell them what's going on, as it turns out there's a whole shadow network of people who are now tormenting them. And finally, it starts to get a little good because now the characters are actually at risk. And so, like, the first thing that happens is one girl, she just has to, she's not at her computer, and they're like, hey, where are you, Lex? Where are you, Lex? Oh. And then uh, they get a link to a YouTube video sent to them through some means. They open it, and it's someone jumping off a building, and they're like, oh my god, that was recorded 15 seconds ago. That's our friend Lex. And it's like, oh wow, your friend just jumped off a building. Okay. And then after that, like, they all like, oh no, they know where we're at, and everything is bad, and we're in trouble. Uh, okay, so they know where you're at because they can track your computer stuff, and you're just sitting in front of the webcam, not turning that off, not moving away from the computer or the cell phone. That they can't track you without a tracking device. Ditch the tracking device. Get away from your computer. Problem solved. I mean, they might get you some other way, but put up a fight at least. So next, the conspiracy guy, he gets all like paranoid about it. He's like, oh, this is horrible. They're going to kill us, blah, 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 blah. He starts freaking out, running around his apartment. And then you see the hackers then like hack into his computer and make it so that he calls 911 and threatens them all using clips from his YouTube videos. He just like is standing basically in front of his door, and they just lay into him with bullets and nonsense. And it's like, and all his friends are yelling at him to get down on the ground, get down on the ground. And he doesn't get down on the ground, and then that causes him to be blasted away. And it's like, that was kind of interesting, but at the same time, that guy's an idiot, and they portray him to be this weird paranoid, like, conspiracy guy. And that is not how you would act. So, like, after him, it's then, like, the English dude, the main dude, his girlfriend is now, like, made up with him and is getting on a train to go meet him so he can make sure that she stays safe. And then the couple women who are a couple, because they're going to coupling together. And so they split up. One of them goes to the train to go get the girlfriend, and the other one stays at home. And then all the lights in the girl that stays at home's house turn off. And instead of being like, oh my god, my lights turned off, I should get out of here, she huddles in front of her computer screen. And it's just really, really like, just seems like a horrible, horrible decision. And eventually she's then made to choose between her friend at the train station, who she just married, or got engaged or whatever, or her sick mom, and she doesn't choose. So they kill them both. The mom at the hospital gets taken off life support, and the girl gets pushed into the train, except it looks like she also drags a person with her. So, yeah, now they're gone, and then the girl who's at home with the lights turned on and off just gets attacked by a dude who's probably in the room. I don't know if their lights were attached to, like, a computer. Maybe he was just over there just flipping the switch, and she's just like, I gotta look at the computer. Yeah. So then finally I have the English guy and the man guy, and the man guy gets on his bike and takes his cell phone out so he can always be webcamming this whole thing when dude turned phone off, you'll be safer. And the English guy is in his apartment trying to copy and do things. And it turns out that it's all a setup, and you start seeing stuff happen on the screen that the people in charge that are hacking and doing things that are actually like setting up all these guys for this missing girl and just messing with them. And someone is in the English guy's apartment overseas and strangles him to death and then hangs him on a noose in his apartment after writing a suicide note for him, typing one on his computer as you see it. And then the other guy just gets hit while on his bike by a car after you see a vote count on screen. So I guess it's like this weird super big chat room where people are all watching this thing unfold because it's game night. I think it would have been clever if they did something with the sign language. They didn't. And that was Unfriended the Dark Web.